Hello everybody, today we are going to talk about a bit more complex examples about the dictionary inside the dictionary or a list inside the dictionary, and we talk about, well, when you should use which thing. Notice that we normally in the last lectures we learned about how to have inside a list a tuple, right? And the tuples inside this list were like John, 27, male, and well, we could add here, for example, telephone number, how many hamster he had, how many girlfriends he had. So imagine that we have got here a bit more numbers, right? And then when you look at the record like that, you are like, which of the number is age, right? Which of the number is how many girls he had, right? You do not know by looking at the record like that. That's why it's really great to use for data like that labels, which are the keys for values inside a dictionary, right? So it's good idea to have inside a dictionary instead of tuple for the data like that. But it's not like always like that. You can have data like, for example, ratings, right? You can have a person, like, for example, Arkadiusz or Agnes. They are students and they have got some ratings for how they performed in the school, right? As you can see, Arkadiusz is a very bad student and has got very low marks. But as you can see, you can instantly see that the name of this variable, the name of this, well, dictionary, consists of ratings, and here is just a name, and probably these are ratings, right? So you do not need to even use the nested type because, well, there are only keys and values, right? But when you have got more values, right, to distinguish, so when you have got something like that here, name, ratings, and behavior, or many more like telephone number and so on, then it's probably a good idea to have a list, and inside a list have a dictionary. Because now we can instantly see that these ratings belong to Arkadiusz and he had a behavior like that, right? And here we have Agnes and we have ratings like that and behavior like that. Here we wouldn't be able to add another value to that would make it easy to distinguish each other, right? So yeah, using tuples for example, ratings is a good idea because, well, you wouldn't call it rating 1, rating 2, rating 3, rating 4, rating 5, rating 6, right? It would be stupid to add a label before each of the value like that. Or if you had, for example, program that would get random numbers, it would be stupid to call them number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, right? It's better to just use a tuple and some key for it, right? For example, that the person like Arkadiusz has got ratings like that or numbers like that, whatever. But you need to decide what type you use depending on what data you have to process in your program. And now notice that when you have got the situation like that, so when you have got list here and inside the list you have got dictionary, you've got a problem like that. When you do something like that, ratings 2 of 0, you will get entire record, right? But imagine that you got here a bit more of records like that, like for example 500, and now you don't know where is Arkadiusz, where is Agnes, and you want to find them, right? You cannot do something like ratings 2 of Arkadiusz and then get the ratings of Arkadiusz. You need to search for that record. We'll talk about how to search later, but well, it takes time, right? You need to write also some code. But notice here, when you have got a dictionary outside, you can do something like that, ratings of 3, and then get to Arkadiusz instantly, right? You do not need to make special loop for it. You just got instantly all ratings for Arkadiusz. His ratings as a score for how he performed in the school, in the lectures, and what was his behavior, right? So it's pretty easier to use when you have got it that way. But you need to remember that, well, you need to have all students that are unique. So maybe names are not a good idea to have here because students can have the same name. But, well, you could try with a name plus some identificator or something like that. Or maybe just identificator, like ID, like here, right? You've got people, and each person has got an ID that identifies that person, and you can easily pick people of and you can get instantly everything about that guy. So, or well, if you need to have uniqueness, you just use the list, right? And you don't want to have IDs, right? It really depends on what data you need to process, what you got in entry to your program, right? Do you have some single values, right? Key value, or you have got more of them. So it's a good idea to maybe use the nested type. Or do you care about how about the order of things, right? Because, well, remember that here when you put something into the list, everything is gonna be in an order that it was put into. But when you put something into the dictionary, well, then it's like a bug. When you put something to bug, you don't know exactly where it will be later because, well, you know, some things mix up inside the bug, right? You can then pick something from the bug and you don't know exactly what it will be as you are picking it. So, well, also adding items to the list when the list is outside is a bit slower when you are using the dictionary, because when you add new items to a bug, you just throw them into the bug, right? Here you need to somehow manage how to add a new item at the end to keep the order, right? So it really depends on the situation. Don't worry if you do not get it 100%. The most important for you now is to understand the syntax. So how to create each of that nested type. In future, when you start using it, you will get used to it, okay? Give yourself some time. You do not need to understand everything about nested type, advanced nested types instantly, because it's a bit complicated topic. So do not worry. We will make in future some practical examples and you will get used to it. You will also program a bit with some other people and you will get used to it more. These things really take practice. It's not something that you will always do perfectly fine, okay? In case of any questions, as always, feel free to ask.